It is a Friday. Tony Scott Internet Show is on. How are you this morning? Hope everything's good. Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants who beat the Cardinals yesterday and will advance to the World Series. Cardinals are a heck of a team. I mean, the Cardinals are a heck of a team, but the Giants are, man, those guys, they play some ball, y'all, and they will play Kansas City in the World Series beginning next Tuesday night. So we tip our hats to the Giants, tell the Cardinals, job well done, gentlemen, and we move on. So we've got plans for the weekend. Olivia's coming home today. Going to spend the weekend. She's been in school. College has been, 3-4 weeks old, and they already got their fall break, and then she's out next week, complete the whole week. I don't understand that, but, you know, it's how you go to school 3 weeks, and then you're out for a week. I need a gig like that. That's pretty awesome, I think. So, by the way, Monday Night Football last night, the Patriots beat the Jets 27-25. Jets had a chance at a last-second field goal, but then it was blocked. And the Patriots win, again, 27-25 in Foxborough. So St. Louis Mayor Francis Slay met with a group of protesters on yesterday, and they talked about the activists. The group is called Young Activists United, and they had to sit in at City Hall Monday and ask for a meeting yesterday. Mayor Slay met with them, said it was all respectful. The Young Activists United want a civilian review board. That's already being worked on. Body cameras for police. That's being worked on too. But he did tell them that there are lots of different groups of you guys, and you guys need to come together with a unified agenda. You know, I can see that. That makes sense. I'm with that. You know, united as one. You're Young Activists United. Let's unite these different factions and let's get some things done. I think is what the mayor is saying. So can't necessarily fault him for that. A St. Louis County police officer is on paid leave. You hear about this? The county police are investigating why he was carrying a shotgun. Did you see the online video? We'll put it up on the news page at talking360.com. It shows a police officer carrying the shotgun, during a stop. Now, he didn't point it at anyone, but you could hear a man say, why is he carrying that gun? Another police officer in a different uniform responds, I don't know, he's a county officer. But why would you carry it like that? Why would you? I mean, you see the video, you're like, well, why are you walking with a shotgun? What are you doing? What is that about? Now, police did say they pulled the car over because the driver failed to use a turn signal. Who gets pulled over for that? You know, the only time I ever see people get pulled over for not using a turn signal is when they almost cause an accident. You know? I mean, it's like you know, jaywalkers never get ticketed unless they almost cause an accident or they themselves almost get hit by a car. Otherwise, they don't never do that. Who gets pulled over for not turning your driver? Really? But police say a stolen .38 caliber gun was found in the trunk of the driver's car. Well, that's not good. What about that police officer in St. Louis who he called a woman's employer to tell them, he went to the woman's employer and told them about her tweeting things about the Ferguson, what's going on in Ferguson. What is that? And then Jeff Rorta, who is he's the mouthpiece for the police, and he's also, I think he's running for elected office, I think like a state representative or something. He says, why is everybody mad at this officer for exercising his right to free speech when the people the protesters and stuff who were throwing things at officers and all that, they were exercising their right to free speech? Well, you know what, Jeff? No. That's not even close to the same thing, man. Really, he's not talking to me or to you. He's talking to Darren Wilson's supporters who are not very smart. You know, who are following the Pied Piper. You know what I'm saying? So whatever he says, they're going to take it as the truth. And that's not even the same thing, man. We're talking about police harassment. We're not talking about free speech. We're talking about harassment. You went to talk to her employer, the people she works for, about tweets. Is that how I understand that? You can't, no, man. No. You can't do that. That's not going to happen, man. You can't do that. And Jeff Roder, that's not even the same thing, man. Stop with that. Stop with that, man. You're insulting a lot of people by thinking that we're that stupid. And we're not. So just stop. It just makes no sense at all for you even to let those words even come out of your mouth. Where are we on this Ebola thing? I know the 2 nurses in Dallas who've been diagnosed with Ebola. I think they're being moved to a facility in Maryland. And in Dallas, the waste from that hospital, for the lack of a better phrase, from the Ebola unit, the company that handles it was like, nah, we ain't touching that, man. No, we ain't sign up for that. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. So what are they going to do with this waste? Well, they're sending it down to Galveston, where my mother lives, because the University of Texas Medical Branch down there apparently has facilities to dispose of it in the right way. But I don't want that down there with my mama, man. Come on. Am I overreacting? Yeah, probably. That's my mama, though. And how y'all going to get it down there? Y'all going to, like, hazardous waste 18-wheeler caravan or something like that? Is that how that works? I'm asking. I don't know. Don't take it down there to my mama. Come on, man. Y'all can do better. Y'all better than that. I don't want this stuff around my mama. God, man, I don't know. There's a big discrepancy, though, between and I said this yesterday, between what the CDC is telling us, what the CDC is telling the hospital, and what the hospital is telling the nurses. That seems to be the message that I've gotten the last couple of days reading different news accounts about what's going on. Is that, they say the right hand ain't telling the left hand. Well, there's a third hand in there, or maybe a foot. The right hand ain't telling the left hand, and the left hand ain't telling the foot, and it's a mess. And they need to get on one page with this, because we're talking about lives. And how effective are these suits that they're wearing when they get around an Ebola patient? Because I watched a news report today. It says those suits, them things are flimsy. There's a way you put them on. There's a way you take them off. The rubber gloves, the whole thing like that. There's a whole protocol to that. But nobody knows for certain. It's like, what can I compare it to? Because it's like having different ways to do the same thing, but there's no one set uniform way to do it. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. There are more calls for the president to ban flights from countries where there's Ebola. Don't let they're saying if people flying to this, don't let them in the country. Man, being president is a tough job. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a tough one, because part of me says, well, at least maybe for a little while, but then it's like, you know what? We're known for our borders always being open, but then, I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know. That's a tough thing, That's a tough thing, because it almost sounds racial, but I don't want to believe that it's racial. But, whoever says this is a post-racial society, boy, did they sell a bill of goods. There is no such thing as a post-racial society. Ask people of color, they'll tell you that. That's a misnomer. That doesn't even exist. Get out of here. What else is going on? Did you hear about the girl in St. Charles County? For those who don't live in the St. Louis area, that's the county, west of St. Louis County? Anyway, teenagers accused of giving away her toddler to a heroin user, and then she claimed the child was kidnapped. So they figured it out. They charged her with endangering the welfare of a child and lawful use of drug paraphernalia. She gave her baby away to a known heroin user because, quote, she wanted to live the life of a normal teenager. I mean, she wrote up her own informal custody papers saying she was giving custody away to the known heroin user. She's free on $2,500 bail. I say that people who commit crimes against children don't get bail. That's what I think. Enough of being soft on everything. We're like I said before, we're a nation of excuses. She's also charged with making the false police report because she told police her son had been kidnapped by the person who she signed her custody papers over to. All these charges are misdemeanors. Where's the daddy? That's crazy. Of all the people you can give your child to, you give it to someone who you know is using heroin. All the people in the world, even people you don't know. You just see them at Walmart. Hey, you want this kid here? And just leave it, or put it in somebody's basket while they got their back turned or something like that. I mean, why would you give it to someone who you know does heroin? Because I want to be a teenager again. Well, that ship sailed, Pumpkin. Pumpkin, the minute those knees came apart and you got pregnant, that ship sailed. You're not going to be a normal teen anymore. That's the path. You chose to have unprotected sex. You chose that. So with that choice comes responsibility. I'm sorry, you can't be a normal teenager anymore, but that's the hand you've been dealt, and now you got to play it out. Give a baby to a heroin user. What the hell is wrong with people? John Grisham writes books. He's written some very prolific, but he wrote The Firm. He wrote The Pelican Brief, A Time to Kill. He's written a lot of books. Those are just some of the more popular ones. And recently he gave an interview in the UK where he says, we have prisons now filled with guys my age, 60-year-old white men in prison who've never harmed anybody and would never touch a child. But they got online one night, started surfing around, probably had too much to drink or whatever, and pushed the wrong buttons and went too far and got into child porn. They deserve some type of punishment, but 10 years in prison? There's so many of them now, sex offenders. They put them in the same prison like they're a bunch of perverts or something. I have no sympathy for a real pedophile. But so many of these guys don't deserve harsh prison sentences. A friend of mine, this was 10 years ago, was drinking, and his drinking was out of control. He went to a website. He was labeled 16-year-old wannabe hookers or something, some stupid website. And it said 16-year-old girls. So he went there and downloaded some stuff. It was 16-year-old girls that looked 30. He shouldn't have done it. It was stupid, but it wasn't 10-year-old boys. He didn't touch anything. So he's backed away from that statement. He's backed away from that. He says anyone who harms a child for profit or pleasure or who in any way participates in child pornography online or otherwise should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. My comments made 2 days ago during an interview with the British newspaper The Telegraph were in no way intended to show sympathy for those convicted of sex crimes, especially the sexual molestation of children. I can think of nothing more despicable. I regret having made these comments and apologize to all. Thank you. Thank you. Because when I first read that a couple days ago, I was like, he ain't really say that. They twisted his words, I mean, because it's like, who says that? That we're too hard on people who look at child pornography. Who says that? I mean, and gets away with it. And he wasn't getting away with it because he got called on it and he finally had to apologize for it. Dude, wake up, man. A dude sits, 6-year-old white man, your words, sits in front of a computer and he's had too much to drink and he gets online and the next thing you know, he's looking at child porn. That's a choice. That person made that choice. Whether it was alcohol influenced or not, that person chose to drink. No one held him down and poured liquor down his throat. He chose to get himself full of that oil. And then he chooses to go online. And then he chooses to find a site that he clicks. And next thing you know, how are 500 images on his hard drive? They don't just get there by themselves. They have to be downloaded. They don't download themselves. He chose that, man. People make choices in life. There are consequences to pay for that. John Grisham, points off me. I'll accept your apology, but I got to take some points off for that, man. You no longer have 100. You're down to like a 90. And I think I'm being generous. Hey, Halle Berry is looking to change the game in respect to her situation. And Snoop says, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you hear Snoop. I'll tell you about Halle Berry coming up in less than 30 seconds on the Tony Scott Internet Show.
Do you want to reach an audience that you haven't tapped into yet and not blow your budget? The Tony Scott Internet Show is new, growing, and available to you. Advertising on the Tony Scott Internet Show is extremely affordable. Contact us at advertise@TonyScottShow.com.
We are back, Tony Scott Internet Show. My podcast that I do Monday through Friday. If you're just finding out about it, I appreciate it. I do. I've got friends. Audrey Brooks has been listening, and Beverly Jones has been listening. Anthony Norwood's been listening, and I really appreciate that. Looking to grow this into something I don't know. Maybe I won't do it. I don't know. But I'm having fun doing it. And there's really no restrictions. I can cuss if I want to. I think there might have been one word that came out, but cussing's overrated. I tell that to my girl, cussing's overrated. You know, throwing an F-bomb just for the sake of throwing an F-bomb is like, I mean, what's the difference between saying you're effing stupid and actually saying the word, or just saying you're really stupid? There's no difference, really. But I think that just comes with age for most people. Some people, though, older than me, cuss like a sailor. I cuss a lot when I'm not on the radio, and I mean, I don't cuss nearly as much as I used to, but I'm trying, and I'm aware of it. So I've cut back. I would say I cut back like 50% in my swearing. And could I be better at it? Yeah. Am I working at it? Absolutely. You damn right I'm working at it. What? Halle Berry is working on getting her child support obligation down. She's paying right now $16,000 a month to Gabriel Aubrey. She wants to pay a little over $3,000 a month. Because she says Gabriel has stopped working and is happy to live off the child support. And that's an abuse of the system. She says he's perfectly capable of getting a job, and by reducing the child support, it'll allow their 6-year-old daughter, Nala, to live a comfortable life supplemented by his income. They've got joint custody. They each have the child 50% of the time, but she's paying $16,000 a month. And she ain't happy because he's spending some of the money on him. Hurts, don't it, Halle? Frustrating as hell, isn't it, Halle? Yeah. A lot of men go through that. You know what? I became an adopter of the philosophy of, if the stuff that you can't change, don't put your energy into that, okay? And I always looked at it like this. When I was paying child support for AJ, who's now, 30 years old, but when I was paying child support, and I knew that her mom would take some of the money, she'd get her hair done or whatever like that, and I looked at it like this, and this is the only way I was able to keep my sanity. And the way I looked at it was, if she uses some of the money to get her hair done, her nails done, if it helps put her in a better frame of mind, I'm all right with it. I mean, because I'm not going to win that battle. I remember when we were getting divorced and, all that was being established, child support in Texas, and I asked for an accounting of how she spent the money, of how she was going to spend the money, and the judge was like, no, what the hell's wrong with you? I mean, he gave me that look like, are you crazy? Boy, sit down. No, we don't do that here. No. I mean, he shot me down. And the look on his face was there was some attitude there, and I was like, man, because you never want to make a judge mad, especially when he's got his hand in your pocket. You don't want that to happen. So, Halle Berry, good luck trying to get it down to, because for celebrities, it's different. The celebrity child support payment structure is different from civilians. They have a different scale. They have a different way. She may get that passed through, but if she was like a normal civilian, if she was Hallie Jones, that wouldn't happen. She wouldn't be able to get it peeled back like that. It just don't work that way in most. I mean, you have to have like really, really compelling reason to do it. If you're going to say, well, he spent some of the money on himself, most judges are going to say, yeah, well, whatever. No, you're going to keep paying. So, I mean, if you can get that change, more power to you, but I just don't see that happening. Snoop Dogg he posted a picture of an albino woman with French braids. I think they were some kind of braids. It was a meme, and he put on there, this is Iggy Azalea with no makeup, and Iggy Azalea's feelings were hurt. Iggy Azalea is a woman from Australia, the hip-hop rapper who is, making it big right now. It's her world right now, right, as far as female MCs go. And she said her feelings were hurt, and then, Snoop said, I wish a bleep would, and all that stuff like that. And, I mean, Snoop is clearly, and you can spin it any way you want, Snoop is clearly sexist and misogynist, he just, it doesn't bother him to call a woman a bitch. It doesn't bother him at all, I mean, he knows. He gets a pass, though. I don't know why he gets a pass, but he gets a pass, but he apparently was he bullying Iggy Azalea? I don't know if you could call it that. Maybe you can. I'm not sure. But he was clearly, giving her a rough time for whatever reason. I don't know. But apparently T.I. called Snoop, and I don't know what he told him. I know he didn't threaten him. I don't know if, I would like to know what is it that he told Snoop, because Snoop apologized.
Boys and girls, I just got off the phone with my homeboy Tip, the king of Atlanta, and it's officially over. No more bad talk. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Clearly
he was high. I mean, you just hear it in his voice, He might have been chiefing when he made the video. But apparently it's over. I don't know why it's over, but I don't really care about stuff like that. But I do wonder, what did T.I. tell Snoop to call Snoop to say, all right, it's over. I won't do it again. What did he say? Did T.I. say that Iggy emotionally is very fragile? Did he say, you don't stop, it's going to be me and you? I doubt he said that, and I doubt that Snoop would have taken him seriously, and I doubt that Snoop would have been intimidated by something like that. But I do wonder what he told him to get him to stop. Erykah Badu always wondered what it would be like to sing in the street for money, so she decided to go to Times Square, New York. She did it about a week ago, and she just started singing for cash. She actually documented it. It was like a 40-minute thing that she turned into a 7-minute clip, and it's on the Streets Are Talking page at talking360.com. She just wanted to see what it would be like to sing for money on the streets. And she would tell her, I need some money. Sister, I need some money. I haven't sold a record in about 2 years. She freestyled. A lot of people didn't recognize her. She made $3.60. Erykah Badu was singing for money in Times Square, New York, and made $3.60. Wow. That is crazy. $3.60. Man. Hey, did you hear about Ben Vereen? Well, actually, his son, Ben Vereen, who apparently at a New York CVS store went up there and was loading up on all kinds of stuff, and he tried to leave without paying. Security guard caught him grabbing toothpaste and toothbrushes and phone chargers from a CVS, and then leaving. And him and the security guard, they tussled. Cops came and took him into custody. He's been charged with robbery. When you're a celebrity and your child does something foolish like that, and they're of age, they're of age. I mean, what do you do? And what can you do? Right? He's let you down, and because you're a celebrity, this is now it's amplified. So what do you do? I mean, Michael Douglas's son had a drug problem for years, and finally went to prison for it. I'm not talking about prison, I'm not talking about jail. I'm talking about prison. And I ain't talking about for a year or two. He's been locked up for a while, and my understanding is he's got a ways to go. And Michael Douglas has pretty much been pretty candid about saying, you know what, I failed as a father. We failed him and his mom. We failed as parents. And he did some things that he has to be held accountable for. This is why he's locked up. Now, he has tried to get his son out, I think, like almost any parent would. But it hasn't happened yet, as far as I know. But I mean, what do you do when you're a parent? If you're just a regular, I work for the government, and my kid did this, and my adult child, and you deal with it, right? But when you're a celebrity that everybody knows, and you possibly even have the resources of like Michael Douglas to be able to do things, to make the system, there's our justice and then there's their justice, celebrities. But when that doesn't work, I mean, what can you do? And everybody knows that you're, Michael Douglas's case, everybody knows your son's a drug addict and he's in prison, and what do you do? That's a tough one, man. I pray that I never, ever, ever, ever have to go through anything remotely like that. I mean, if my child got caught, I mean, I'm on the bottom rung of show business, right? I used to say that when I was on the radio, that I was on the bottom rung of show business, because in radio, you're heard, you're not seen. Well, I'm below that. I'm not even on the radio. I'm on a podcast. So I'm way down there, right? But if one of my kids did something like that to embarrass me, oh man, I don't know what I'd do. I'm gonna be real honest. Man, come on now. See, I'm one of those kind of people where I'm not gonna say like, man, I would do that, because I wouldn't. I wouldn't know what I would do. I would like to think I'd like to think I know what I would do, and that is, to be. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. I don't know. I believe that, if you broke the law, you pay the price. Learned that from my father. You play, you pay. That's what I learned from my father, right? But I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things, but, I'm fairly confident that my girls won't get in trouble like that, because I've had long conversations with them about stuff, and I think they understand. I mean, Maria is my youngest. She's 15, and she understands. She pretty much gets it, But we had to teach Maria that you don't do what other people do just because you're with them. That's a no-no. We don't do that. And Olivia, we've gone a little bit more deeper because she's older. AJ is 30 years old. I love her to death. But I mean, what could I tell a 30-year-old child of mine who breaks the law? What could I tell them that they didn't know? Well, I could defend them. Like, they didn't know. They're 30 years old. Come on, man. I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up right here because we're closing in on 30 minutes, and that's usually my limit for putting together this show. I appreciate you listening. If you get a chance, we got the Men on Scandal show. The recap. Last night's scandal was crazy. Talk about a high-profile job and what your kids will do. You need to watch that one if you haven't yet. I won't tell you anything because some of you guys have taped it and not watched it yet, so I'm not going to give you any spoiler things. But man, come on, man. But when you get done watching it, watch Men on Scandal. Go to menonscandal.com, and the latest episode is called Like Father, Like Daughter. So you can check that out. Appreciate you if you could share this and repost it and tell everybody. Tony Scott does a show. It's a podcast, and you can listen to it whenever you want, and you can download it. You can just listen and stream it from your phone. You don't even have to download it for that. You can do it like that if you want to. But I appreciate you so much. You've been so good to me. I love you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you Monday.